Yeah.
It's Reverend Pat Allerton from St Peter's, Notting Hill. Reverend Pat, how are you doing?
Hello, Adrian. I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Not at all.
Tom.
How do you address a bishop, by the way? Do you just call them the bish, or what? How does it work?
Behind their backs, they're the bish.
Okay.
Bishop.
So you've been sort of getting out there, haven't you, on your on the streets of Notting Hill, which are sort of paved in gold in some places. But what's been your attitude to this?
Well, as soon as we knew we couldn't gather, a thought came into my mind. Well, if the people can't go to church, then maybe church should go to the people, or something of church. So I had this just simple idea one day. What if I went to the street and I thought Portobello Road passes through my parish? But what if I went to the Portobello Road with a speaker and just played an old classic favourite hymn of the church, but also led people in prayer, in the Lord's Prayer, and possibly a time of silence where they can lift up before God, or just bring to mind anyone they know struggling with this awful disease. Either they're sick with it or they're fighting it in the NHS.
What kind of amplification are you using? A megaphone or what?
It's actually a couple of very powerful speakers. I'm not very good with tech, but I know that they are the Mackie 350S.
Oh, it's a quality speaker, that.
Know that one.
Very good for outdoor preaching. But you got a microphone. Have you got some choir boys to carry the speakers? You're not carrying them yourself, surely?
I had one choir boy, a.k.a. My flatmate, Christopher,
right.
Who's in lockdown with me, obviously, here, along with his fiancée, who's in the other spare room. So he was the choir boy. He was taking care of the kit, and he also did the filming. So he was a great asset.
And did you have a sandwich board on? Because there's some, how can I put this, eccentrics you see outside underground stations in London. Do you sort of channeling a bit of that?
I left my sandwich board at home, Adrian, you'll be pleased to hear. But I did premise the whole thing by saying, look, I'm your local vicar, so you've sort of got a right to be here. I was trying to just buy myself some time. I said, I'm only going to be 5 minutes, you know. I'm not going to preach at you, even though I did then go on to preach a little bit at them, or to them. But I just explained I'm going to play a hymn. It's going to be a sing-along. It'll lift our spirits at the very least. But also, these words are true. And they're good news. You know, there's a God in heaven who loves us, that we can look to, who can be with us through Jesus in this tough time. And then I played the hymn, and some people sang along. Lots came to their windows or their doorways, or just stood a good social distance from each other. And then, I don't know, at the end, I didn't know whether to expect rotten tomatoes or what to expect. But actually, there was a lovely ripple of applause.
Oh, that's nice.
That was great.
I mean, it helps. It helps, Pat, that you're terribly good looking. I mean, never mind that fella in Fleabag. I mean, do you get any proposals of marriage or anything like that?
I've not had one yet, Adrian. So still awaiting that one.
And can I ask you both this, Richard? You must get people saying to you words along the lines of, what is God playing at here with this global virus?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think, particularly for those in hospital, it's a very difficult place for chaplains to minister. Some hospital trusts, not all, but some hospital trusts, I think because of the weight of work they have on and the number of patients they're looking after, are having to stop chaplains going in. And that's very hard and very difficult. And again, some are resorting to the telephone. We are in very strange times. And I think one of the big messages that I'm offering to people really is that looking at it from a Christian perspective, we believe in a God who is with us in this, not a distant kind of God, but a God, and we're thinking about this today, Good Friday, a God who suffers and dies for us. So we believe in a God who understands the place that we're in and is with us in it, if you like. And I think that's an immensely consoling and comforting thought. And then out of this comes new life. It's very hard for those who are losing loved ones, but to know that the Lord is with you even in those places, in those dark places. This present time, I think, is a really, really important thing to enable people to realise and understand.
But Pat, I mean, you must have, out there on the street, even in Notting Hill, you must have had this pointed out in more sort of industrial language from time to time.
Luckily, the language has been relatively clean cut. But, I mean, do you know what? I'm just finding people just the most wonderful responses. I think people are just looking for hope, and they're more open than perhaps at other times right now. And as the bishop says, this is the time in the church's life, Good Friday, when we remember the God who came and died for us in Jesus Christ, but rose again on Easter Day, and he's alive, and we can know him. But the best thing I've heard back from the things I've done, because I started going to hospitals, and I went to Charing Cross Hospital and played Amazing Grace there and led a prayer. And I got this message, I only found it a few days later on Facebook, but this message came through, if I could just read it, Adrian.
Yeah, go on, please do.
Hello, I'm not a religious person, but I wanted to thank you for what you did on Thursday night outside Charing Cross Hospital. My uncle was in there at the time and passed away alone the following morning due to coronavirus. Knowing he could have heard this on his last night on this planet brings tears to my eyes and warmth to my heart. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the anonymous family. But I mean, that moves me, and that's why I'm doing what I do, because people need hope, and Jesus is alive, and they can know him.
Quite right. Well, look, that's great. Look, I happen to be a Roman Catholic, but if I wasn't, I can get on the bus from my place right up to Notting Hill, and I'd come to you. Perhaps I'll do that anyway when the time comes. Pat, very nice talking to you.
Thank you.
All the best.